Thank you, Leila. And as we are celebrating the birth of URI, we are also celebrating how each of us came into this interfaith work and into the URI network. So think of that as well. That's something to celebrate. We celebrate it. And while you're listening to the different stories, I'd like to prompt you to listen to the qualities that you hear in them, beautiful qualities or the values that you see in these actions and stories. And with that, I'd like to pass it to dear Sally to share your stories from the URI birth.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Karima. And again, it's just a pleasure to be with each of you this morning for me here in California. And for those who don't know, I started with URI as a volunteer in 1995 and have been on staff all these years. And I just want us to reflect a minute on what we just saw in that video with the images and the purpose, the words in the purpose statement. It's stunning that that's just a tiny window into the fruits that have been born by what was given birth to in the idea stage in 1996, but when we finally chartered as an organization, it was 20 years ago, 22 years ago. So I do want to tell you some stories about the birth of those very beginnings. And as you know, birthdays do remind us of beginnings. Usually it's for people. We celebrate our births of people we love and ourselves. But births and beginnings are also about big decisions in our lives, commitments, when we moved and maybe joined a group or organization or started one. So as Karima mentioned, there are usually passionate values and qualities alive at that time. And so as I tell these stories about URI, yeah, think about what values you can see that were alive in the URI stories and what ones you can remember in your own life as you made a step into interfaith work. So as you know, well, it was June 26th, 2000. That is the birth date of URI. And the first story I'd like to tell you about is where this happened. And it was in the city of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania in the USA. So why Pittsburgh? Because Pittsburgh has more bridges than any other city that we could think of, especially in the United States. And here's a picture of Pittsburgh, just a little bit of its many bridges. So as you know, the first principle of URI is we're a bridge building organization, not a religion. So even in this earliest moment of birth, the symbol of bridges, the intention that people from all backgrounds, different religions and cultures would be meeting on bridges, crossing bridges together, and that there's a conviction that people all over the world would be bridge builders themselves in their own local areas. And as you know, since then, there's been many occasions to be alive with our bridge building. And I know the Most Star CC, which Karima was a part of in the very beginning, again, helped make this real because it put that bridge in the context of the history in Most Star at that time. So the day itself in Pittsburgh, there were about 300 people who gathered, and the primary focus was the charter signing ceremony. And as most of you know, the charter, it's highlighted by its preamble, purpose, and principles. And that document is the founding document of URI. And it is spoken into by hundreds of people in the years prior to 2000. And it contains the vision, the mission, where the values of URI, and also it provides the core purpose and principles that we all share. So let's move on to the next slide, because we were all sitting in the audience and we were in, oh, here's the group. Sorry, we're not quite ready. So here is our group that gathered in Pittsburgh. And here we are. Just hold here for a minute. When we were invited to sign the charter, I was in the audience. Karima was there. I'm not sure who else on this call might have been there. The Global Council members were on stage. And when it was time for Bishop Swing, who, as you know, is the visionary and the founder of URI, he reverently bent over the document and he gave it a gentle kiss. And in this moment, the conviction that burned in his heart and soul several years earlier to commit the rest of his life to supporting a global interfaith peace organization came into being. And like so many anticipated births, you can see that URI's beginning was met with reverence, with excitement, with appreciation, as well as a million questions that we really had no idea how we were going to pull this off, carry through these values and live into this vision. And we're still doing that. We always felt then that questions are what leads us. And even though we don't have the answers to them, we're in it together with the questions. So let's, you can come back to me now. The second story has to do with how URI got its name and its logo. And as you know, naming is important, and what symbols we use for our organizations say a lot about who we are. So this happened at the very first planning session in 1996 in San Francisco. A group of about 80 or 90 people were invited together to just talk generally about what could a new organization dedicated to interfaith work be like? What can we see it offering in the world? How might it happen? And there were people from all different sectors. I remember educators, business people, religious leaders, NGO leaders, and one woman who had babysitting troubles brought her 10-year-old son. And he was sitting there at the table with origami papers, colored papers, and he was making designs with them. And at one point he raised his hand and he said, may I say something? And we said, of course. And he said, well, it went like this. He said, and his circle of colors was like pulled out. And he said, you know, once the religions of the world were far apart, but then they started talking to each other and he pushed these pieces together. And then he held up his final creation and he said, then there was something that was never there before, a star. Now you can show the picture. I think you all know this star, but the next one. And there it was. No, the star. Okay, let's just get to the star if you can. Okay, come on back to me. So when he held up that star pretty much like that. It looked pretty much like what we have today. And a Catholic nun in the group said, and that will be URI's logo. And it was. So that's the story of the logo. There's one more founding story, and it happened in 1999, when again, these planning groups, this was about 200, we were at Stanford University, putting the final agreements to the organizational design and to the charter itself. And honestly, the name of URI was still under discussion. Should it be called United Religions to mirror the United Nations, a global organization dedicated to security and justice among nations? Or should it be called United Religions Initiative to accentuate the power of people's creativity, resourcefulness, bringing their own initiatives to this effort that we all shared in. And a paper, now you can show that paper that we had before, a simple loose leaf, a paper from a simple notebook was circulated by a few delegates promoting the word initiative. So you can take a minute to read it. It's a dynamic word, institution not set in stone, but a thriving, continuing quest to build unity and work for the common good. Keep the I. So as you know, we can go back now. We did keep the I, and we have become URI ever since. So it is, who could have foretold at that time, just like we don't know when a baby is born or when an organization or CC is started, what the future will bring. And as I look back, we could have never foretold the successes, the fulfillments, the breakthroughs, nor the severe difficulties, the challenges, the hard, enduring daily work that this vision, this effort would take. So again, especially now, I think we know that the world is facing big issues, hard times. Europe, almost every country has its own menu of difficulties. So I just want to say something that someone said to me when I was in a low moment of my life some years ago. And she said, keep going, keep going. So that's what I want our birthday commitment to be. Let's keep going, helping one another, seeing where the improvement, where the positive change can be. And that's a great way to celebrate URI and where we've been and where we're going. So I'm turning it back to you because I think I want to see some things happening in Europe. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you so much, dear Sally, for reminding us of special moments and the ups and downs we go through and how we can support each other on this exciting journey, really. So I wanted to add a few more stories or geared towards Europe or from Europe. So I'll also share my screen and show you a few stories, and please continue to look for the values that you find in them. So here you can see a banyan tree, and URI has been compared to a banyan tree sometimes. So that's a tree from Asia, and it sends down branches into the earth and creates new roots and additional centers to nourish it. So in this banyan tree, URI also did the same and when it was preparing for its birth. And I think it does it until this very day with all the cooperation circles, which are really their own centers and giving nourishment to each other and to the network. So this is a special place. That's Dobogokő in Hungary, in Budapest. It's on the top of the hills over the Danube River. And in the year 2000, which was the charter signing year, European interfaith peace activists gathered there in this special place and imagined how to support the interfaith URI movement in Europe. So this place in Hungary, in Dobogokő, which is the murmuring of the waters because it's a mountainous area and a forest and water streams. So it was deliberately chosen on purpose to welcome people from all over Europe, both East and West, so that it was easy to travel there for everybody. So URI was building these bridges again between Western, Eastern, Southeast Europe. And it was that time, 2000, just let's say 10 years after the fall of the Iron Curtain. So then when the URI Charter was signed there too in March, even before the charter signing celebration in June, by the about 40 participants, they included people from Eastern, Western, Southeast, Western Europe. So I named the nations they came from: Belgium, Catalonia, Spain, the Netherlands, Switzerland, the United Kingdom, Hungary, Germany, the United States of America, Romania, Finland, Bosnia and Herzegovina, as well as Tajikistan. And I still remember Vieco with a very interfaith group, Christian Orthodox, Catholic, Muslim, Jewish, from Sarajevo, opening that way to Sarajevo and see where it's come now. So all of this is for me a beautiful illustration for the U in URI, united. So we were united in that. So now I come to the R in URI. And so here you can see a table from a conference in Brussels where people brought all of that, what is dear to them for the beginning of the conference, for the opening ceremony. And it was the same in Hungary, but I didn't have a picture. But that seems so significant for me, that people bring everything that they hold dear and what is in their depth. And this includes the R for religion, but it can also be way beyond that or cover other things, the depth anyway. So what people dream about and dream of, and what nourishes us and sustains us. And thereby we encourage and support each other and the network. So the picture for me is a demonstration of the R in URI in the broadest way. Now we come to the I, initiative. So that's another treasure that I see in URI all the time, that people bring initiative. So you all know that people follow their hearts and minds, and then they take a first step. Yeah. So they share what they find important with friends and communities. So this is an example of Ohrid, and some of you, a number of you really have been there, where we were in 2019 for a European Assembly, where this picture is from. There, one of the participants, there was Shayan Shapasand, he shared an idea that he had gathered from his father in Iran, and that is to collect cigarette butts in order to clean nature. So Shayan then was the one to present this idea. He said, oh, I have an idea, let's do that together. And then he organized the necessary cleaning materials, and he enrolled the assembly participants, talking to people if they would join, and making a list of all who signed up. So for me, it was a really beautiful experience doing this joint service project one morning before breakfast at the beach of this beautiful Lake Ohrid. In my experience, I was hesitant at first because it was pretty early, but then I signed up, and it was really lovely. It bound us together, participants, closer, and it was really joyful to have made this beach a little bit cleaner and relieve nature from this human waste. So for me, it's a beautiful example of both initiative and service. And you can see we collected so many butts that we put them into bottles, and we formed the URI out of it. So the last two pictures I'd like to show, they stand for me for C, Community and Cooperation Circle. So I'm sure that all of you have amazing examples from your work for those C's, community and cooperation. So I think in cooperation, many things can be done, and cooperation builds community, and community supports the collaboration. And that this is just an example of some of the team members who anchored the assembly in Ohrid, including the third from the left, who is Yasmina from our North Macedonian CC, who was then our anchor and beautiful host. And then here as the last one, we have the cooperation community, all these assembly participants who were there representing all assemblies and all our CCs. So seeing these beautiful smiling faces and energy. And I think these people are, all of you, all of us are at the heart of URI. And I imagine I see that each of you, you also have in your communities and circles many more people, you connect to many more people and members with which you create beauty and positive changes in the world. Right. So this is what I wanted to share. So we had the U, the R, and the I, as well as the cooperation and the community. And now I pass it over to Angelina so that you can move us into more conversations with each other.
Thank you, Karima, and warm greetings from my side as well. Thank you, Sally, for this inspirational story. And we all are already here together, dear bridge builders from URI Europe. I'm so happy to be together with you. And as Sally just said, that when we are speaking about birthdays, it reminds us of our beginnings. So it's time for you to share your stories, your beginning of interfaith journey in URI or in general. And next 20 minutes we will spend in small groups. I don't know, 2 or 3 groups. Leila will tell us how many groups we will have. And everyone will have a chance to share about her or his personal story in URI. And we will enjoy our conversation, and then we will come back in the plenary and we'll have 10 minutes for observations, feedbacks, and conversations. So if you have any questions, just ask before splitting into the small groups. If not, we can go and start our more private conversations. No questions, so let's move to the small groups.
I am working to create the small group rooms, and let me do it like that. Okay, so we'll have 3 groups, and enjoy your conversation, share about your beginnings, how the interfaith light was born in you, and how you came to join URI. And you'll have about 15 to 20 minutes. So have a good journey and a good conversation. Mm. Mhm. Eins, zwei, drei.
beautiful.
Yeah. So, and there's Luna again. It was lovely.
Welcome back.
I've been on this meeting.
Hi, Luna.
Hi everyone.
So how were the groups? Good to see you
we
all.
just back to
Nice.
this group before.
It was not enough.
I participated before as a small group and shared some emotional
So
speech. Yeah, but
time was running quickly then.
Yeah.
So how was it? Would you like to share any of the observations you made in any of the stories that you found interesting, or feel free to share a little bit of your groups, all of you.
Well, oh, sorry, Luna. Do you want to go first?
no, sure. I don't want broke the speech before me. Sure.
Well, it was very interesting because I was with Layla and Miranda, and they're both from other parts of the world that I have very little understanding of. And I was saying at the end, because of Ukraine, now our attention is focused more on that area than it's ever been. So it was very nice to hear how Layla had started her journey with interfaith, and Miranda, how she had contacted. So that was, yeah, then I get more understanding of that area. And I think that's the wonderful thing of URI is that you meet people who open you up to new things and to new understandings. Yeah. So I found that very, very interesting. I was happy to have the time to spend with them separately. Yeah.
Thank you. Some other stories or observations, remarks?
Yeah, our group was with Angelina, Elizabeth, Luna, Morgan, and myself, but we had some trouble with the connection. So we heard the story of Luna about the war in Ukraine and the recent bombs, and it was very emotional, of course. So we heard the most from Luna actually, and how it's very important to accept people who no longer want to believe in religions. We have to be open-minded for the people who still believe in religions, and for the people who don't anymore. And the rest, yeah, we don't hear a lot from the other side because of the connection trouble. But it was very nice to talk with the others as well.
Great, thank you, Adin, for sharing. And we had also our small conversation in the main room, and I learned that if there were technical troubles, it could be because of the rising new moon today. So of course, that is when things get topsy-turvy. Yeah.
That's symbolism.
Do other people like to share any learnings or?
A second.
Okay, Luna.
Oh, really? I try to some sharing with photos what we did it in our common general ritual in the Cherkasy Oblast in Ukraine. It is ritual for a peace in the big spiritual labyrinth with stones. And we did it, it's ritual like a summer solstice with our participants, URI members, and some other people who don't know about the URI before our meeting, but I share some about our ideas and goals, and many persons supporting in Ukraine. We need peace in Ukraine now. So in this ritual, we did it for peace, and did it conversation between our participants for understanding mind each other who joining for us. And many beliefs, it's a Jewish, some Christian, some pagans, and many other participants who not supporting the directly beliefs, maybe atheists too, join to us. And we must be open mind, not for believers. We must be open for everyone who want understanding and accepting our common goals. Must these goals for peace, for our conception. We must be easy conception. I found it and share some principles, positions, and our general position. We must be higher than war, than some problems and troubles who happening in our eastern and southern territories. The war, it's very, very big evil, but we must be higher than this evil, and down this evil, our spiritual common goals for peace, supporting, and safety. And first, what we need to do, it's do safety, the generally social who living in our cities. And what it maximum what we can do now for do that is praying. And general praying, what we do that in the summer solstice, I think have some results. Unfortunately, some people dying now, and we praying for people who die. It's our spiritual work, I think, what we need to do in Ukraine now. And I'm very want for and praying. I very want this war must be last in this century, I hope, and must be stopped soon as possible. We must save peace lives, people who living here. I think what can I think it's all. Yes.
Amen.
Amen.
May peace prevail.
Sorry for long speech, but it's my emotions.
Thank you for sharing. And I hear beautiful qualities, openness, peace, understanding, diversity.
Peace and some gardens around myself.
And nature as well.
Yep. Many things and many altars. And all what we need to do is for peace. Thank you, and my heart celebration together with everyone today. I think.
Thank you for joining us, Luna, and for sharing.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we have others. We have a few more minutes left. So if there is something short you would like to say.
Karima, maybe I can I was just mentioning that last week in the Netherlands, we did actually have a meeting. It turned out to be a bit of a reunion, but it was the first meeting we'd actually had physically in more than 2 years. and it was really wonderful to actually be together. Carola was there, of course. Oh, is Carola already gone? Yeah. And we were actually supposed to meet Biff from America, but in the end, it turned out to be a meeting of URI Netherlands. And we're all very, very concerned with the voting. So it was a really wonderful way of making sure that the Dutch CCs had got the ballots in and everything. So it was kind of 2 or 3 fold. So I thank everybody for also being, involved in the whole process of the elections. Of course, it's been very, very exciting. It's getting to the point now when very, very soon, the new trustees will be announced. So we're all very excited about that. And but again, it's just so wonderful to be actually able to meet each other again. And it really has been such a long time in the Netherlands. But you learn. We've learned a lot with these online meetings, but it was just wonderful to meet each other in a beautiful place in Amsterdam. So I just wanted to share that with you. And I hope that Layla and Karima and many of you, Angelina, will come to the Netherlands soon. We've got the youth camp coming along. Hannah Mitra can probably tell us. Hannah Mitra, have you got anything to tell us about the youth camp? Can you?
No. I don't have any information about the youth camp, to be honest. There's Mala. Mala is the one who can tell, or other people from IBS, but I don't know. Actually, I know that they are now busy or in organizing something.
Yes,
sharing something, but I am not. I don't know what. Sorry.
Yeah, well, I've got some information. I'll be passing it on anyway, Anna Mitra, because I was saying to Mala, of course, it'd be wonderful if anybody was coming from Bulgaria, if Angelina was coming or Layla was coming, because of course Angelina, we've had so many years sharing the youth camp also in Bulgaria. So that was something else we really, really missed. And of course, I've missed coming to Plovdiv.
It's a regular, huh? The youth camp is a regular, and it's beautiful.
Yes.
Letting young people go to the different religious places, and even having it inter-regional, inter-country. So that's amazing, really. So it's great it's happening again this time in the Netherlands, and I think it's different days. So I look forward to hearing and learning more about it.
Yeah, and I mean, if we can arrange a sort of chai meeting during that week, we could maybe even set up an online meeting, maybe from The Hague, Hannah Mitra.
Sounds like a nice idea. So
yeah,
let's discuss that.
We can show you the Peace Palace.
Great.
Yeah,
great.
Yes, possibility.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Sally, would you like to?
Well, just you mentioned Netherlands, and Costa Deep was in our small group, and he had to leave early. But he was just a pleasure to meet him. He was working on his PhD about the power of hospitality in interfaith work, which is right on. But he also said something about the colors of the star. He just used the logo in a new way, and I just wanted to share it, that don't let the colors fade. Those are bright colors, and each one is distinct. And let them be distinct and bright, and love them in their brightness and keep them bright. And I just hadn't heard anyone give that lovely meaning to the star and its potential. So I just wanted to share that lovely thought. And he also said, you and I make URI. That's a little different than you are. You and I make URI.
Lovely.
I wanted to put his words in the group because I learned a lot from him.
Thank you, Sally. You and I make URI. There is Aden coming in.
Yes, can I ask maybe more information from the youth exchange from Morgana in the Netherlands, because I'm based in Belgium, and from our organization in VOOM, we also have youth exchange between the Scouts in Brussels and in Croatia and also in the UK. So it's also based on interreligious dialect and stuff. So I would be very happy to visit you in the Netherlands, because my husband is also Dutch, so the Netherlands is also a home I would like to visit, because I'm a newbie in the URI, so I would like to involve more with our activities, of course.
Wonderful. And maybe just for everybody to know, Adin is our newest CC from Belgium, who are doing amazing work around culture and youth involvement and many other things. And Angelina, I want to chime in.
Yes, I just wanted to chime in to make some clarification about the preparation of Mala, because we are in contact for this Interfaith Youth Camp, and they will start the youth camp on 22nd of July. And as far as I know, and we received some small leaflet, the camp will last 2 weeks, but not every day will have camp. Every second day they will have camp. And maybe Mala is the best person to explain more about the camp to you, Aden, and because you are so close, maybe you can join them for 1 or 2 days or something like this, and to make some connections. This is just an idea.
Sounds great, and definitely we can connect you together so that you can collaborate and visit each other. That will be great. So I think that has been lovely sharing. It's good to share information as well as stories and activities. So as we want to end more or less on time, I'd like to thank you all for coming and invite you, if you like, to share just one word, be it a value or a quality that you want to give into this circle of friends before we close, and then to say bye-bye. And there is a poll. Leila has got a poll.
Yeah, and in the meantime, not to forget, even though some of our friends need to leave earlier, I will just put short poll on the screen, so we will appreciate if you can just spend a few seconds answering some of the questions, because it will help us to plan another calls and to evaluate this one and your experience. So you will see it on your screen, and just please answer to these 4 questions. And in the meanwhile, you can think about the word that you would like to put in chat that Karima already explained. So it will be highly appreciated from our side.
Thank you. So we know it's the moon.
Yeah, thank you for answering the pool. And yeah, Karima, back then to you.
Yeah, thank you, Leila. And I wish all of you a super evening. Hope to see you again soon. Thanks for the great work you are doing in your locations. We are always interested in learning about that too. And let us know your ideas about our activities and what we can do to support your work. It's been lovely to celebrate with you. And anybody who'd like to, please put a word or two into the chat of qualities you heard in today's stories and encounters. And then have a nice evening.
I just jump in like very, very shortly. Would it be possible if we take like a screenshot to have it from this lovely call that we know that we gathered and that we celebrated? And if it's possible, maybe all of us could just use this tiny icon reaction and put this lovely celebratory thing, so we can take if you want a screenshot with this and be like, you know, celebrating the URI. So I can take a screenshot if you want, and you could just
great.
this reaction, and then I can just share it. So let's just try to put these there, and I will be taking a screenshot. Okay, let me just see if it's there. My laptop is a bit slow, sorry. Okay, one is there, and then if you're all okay, we can take one more just to be sure. So let's one more put the nice reaction. And then, okay, 1, 2, 3, putting the reactions. Okay. Okay. And I will be sharing this with Leila and she can share it with you then as well.
Wonderful.
Yeah, thank you, Amina, for idea and for making the screenshot. So it's highly appreciated. Thank you.
And we have in the chat perseverance, appreciation and friendship, sisterhood and community, collaboration. So thank you for sharing these words.
Yeah, lovely messages.
Lovely messages. And have a nice evening all. Great to meet you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you for
Bye
sharing.
bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining. Bye bye.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Take good care.